You're driven and you're chasing success, but in the back of your mind, you know that there's one thing holding you back. You haven't started investing. You know that investing is the path to building wealth, but you just keep putting it off. In your mind, you start to feel guilty because you know you could have started forever ago. And year after year, the guilt turns into acceptance. Why is it so difficult to start investing, and how do we break the cycle? Grab a drink, take a seat, let's talk about it. What's up, y'all? It's Brian. Most of us are familiar with the concept of inertia. An object at rest will stay at rest, and that applies to investing. In fact, I'm doing it with my garage right now. I do not want to clean out my garage, and the longer I wait, the more boxes and the more crap builds up over time, and it's making this task more and more difficult for me to get started. I have a friend who does the same thing with investing. He told me that he doesn't feel like it's worth it for him at this point to invest because he's waited so long and it's too late for him for investing to make a difference. And that is a classic example of how inertia can stop people from ever getting started. Another friend of mine, he feels like it's not the right time to invest. Like it's too risky to invest right now because there's so much uncertainty. He doesn't want to be the guy who started investing in the year 2000. And then within a year, those people who started at that time lost half of their money. By the time we get to 2008, right when the markets got back to where it was, we've got another crash where people lost half of their money again. In fact, this just happened to me. I invested in a company a week before they had their earnings report come out, and their earnings report had new information that caused the stock to drop by 20%. This feeling that there's too much risk looming beyond the horizon and too much uncertainty stops people from even starting with the process of investing. And during this time of stagnation where we're not doing anything, the real problem is constantly eating away at us. And it's so insidious because you don't see the value of your account going down like with investing, but inflation is causing us to lose money. Every year, my money is going to buy less and less stuff that I need to buy. Even though it's hard to see the effects of inflation, as in my account value going down, it is affecting us. And that is the number one damage that not investing causes us. Even though we can't see the dollar amount of our savings account going down, we can quantify how much money we're losing over time. If I'm killing it and I'm able to put away $10,000 every year for 30 years, and inflation is just average 3% inflation, I should have $300,000 in my account. But 30 years from now, that money is only going to be worth $200,000. I just lost $100,000. It evaporated away. That could be 15 trips to Europe. That could be my kids' college tuition. That could be 2 Model 3 Teslas, but instead it just vanished. And that's if we have 3% inflation. If inflation speeds up a little bit like it has been, let's say we have 5% inflation, then we're looking at half of that money disappearing. That would be losing $150K. Inflation, even though we can't see it, it's there, and it is destroying our life savings before our eyes. The best and the easiest way to break the cycle is to tackle the first step as the smallest, most manageable step possible. Because if in my mind, I'm thinking, I can't start investing unless I'm an expert investor, then I'm never going to start investing because that's an impossible task. I can't become an expert investor unless I start investing. It's a catch-22 right off the bat. So I want to set aside the smallest and most achievable task as my first task. And I'm going to do this with my garage. I'm going to set aside one box, and I'm going to tell myself, if I just clean out this one box, then I can stop for the day. I'm done. I just have to do one box. And what I find is after I hit that one box, I realize it wasn't so hard, and I can do another box and another box. And so with investing, that first task is just opening a brokerage account. Just open a Robinhood from my phone. It takes like 5 minutes. And then at that point, I have the ability to start investing. And if I just do that one step, then I find that, I actually want to take the second step, which is to automate my savings. Just go into my bank account and set it up for the smallest amount of money, just some amount that I can afford. Just set up $5 per week to go automatically into my Robinhood to start the process. Because the great thing about investing is even very small amounts of money can become huge over time. When I look back at the guy who's putting $10,000 every year in his savings account, and then he's losing $100K or $150K over that 30-year period, if I'm just putting in $250 every month over that same time period, 30 years, that means I will have invested $90,000, not $300K, just $90,000. But the difference is that this money grows to over $500,000. That means I'm actually gaining $430K instead of losing $100K. And if I want to double it, if I want to get to $1 million, then I just invest $500. Now I've set aside $180,000 over the course of 30 years, but at the end of the day, my balance is over $1 million. That's $859K in gains. And the best part is once I set it up, it's one and done. I never have to mess with it again because my bank account can automatically send money to my brokerage account, and my brokerage account can automatically invest in the stock market. And if I just get average stock market returns, then I'm gonna hit these numbers. I don't have to worry about picking the winning stocks and worry about accidentally picking a company that goes out of business. I can invest in broad index funds. These are stocks that are investing in the whole entire stock market. That way, I don't care if one company does well or one company does poorly. I just need the whole stock market to go up over time. And it has. Over the last 100 years, it's averaged about 10% per year. And for me, the key is to focus on consistency, not perfection. I don't need to pick all the best stocks. I just need to consistently invest in the stock market, and my money is going to grow to hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars over time. And the sooner I start, the better. With investing, it feels like I have to push a boulder up a mountain, but in reality, the boulder is already at the top of the mountain. I just have to get it rolling, and it will roll down, and it'll be easier to keep it rolling than when it's sitting still. Just like with my garage. Now that my garage is complete and it's clean, it feels so good to stand in a beautiful garage. And I've realized that the hard part was not cleaning the garage. The hard part was just starting, just getting that first box and sorting it out and organizing. And then the rest of it came so much easier. Like the guy who started investing at the worst possible time in the year 2000, when it looked like you could only lose money if he stayed consistent and invested a little bit every week. Yes, his first investment at the top will have lost money, but every investment along the way as the market goes down lower and lower, as long as he stays consistent, then he will gain on the other side. When it looks like he should be back where he started, he's actually made so much money. So if you're with me and you want to start investing, then you need to know what are the traits that help investors stay consistent. What separates an investor from wins from the investor who quits? Check it out right here. See you there. Cheers. Oh, that's a good one. Where's the kitties? Lily, Momo.